The top weight, of course, is trained by Russell Cameron, former Adelaide trainer who has entered into a unique training partnership with John Sadler, and he's now living a much calmer life. Mary Gearon has the story.
Watching for raw emotion from Russell Cameron on race day is waiting for a barrier that will never open. There's just thoughtful politeness and dry humour. Few would guess at the anxiety attacks that once possessed him.
Oh, it was terrible. Years ago I was always blinking, or might be saddling a horse up in the vomit at the back of the stall. But as time's gone on, I've learnt to relax a bit more.
Now there's much less anxiety in his life. After his move from Adelaide this year, he's had a good run with St Clemens Bell, who dead-heated with Helm in the Bill Stutt Stakes, and rising star Toledo, who grabbed the Stradbroke.
Inside the 100, it's Toledo and Monopolise taking the lead together. Toledo's going better. Toledo took the lead and Toledo beat Monopolise.
Here, the emotion would escape when he remembered the man who'd passed away 18 months earlier, who taught him everything he knew.
I'd like to thank Danny and Lynn, who are up here with the horse. I'd like to thank the owners, the staff in Melbourne and Adelaide. And above all, I'd like to thank me poor old dad, who's not here today. Thank you. When the horse won that day that Toledo won the Stradbroke, I just felt so much for him as he would have been part of it, you know. Not only being my father, he was someone I always looked up to. He was my best friend. He was something special. In my eyes, he was I thought he was one of the best trainers in Australia.
Ted Cameron was known as a betting trainer in Adelaide, preparing horses for specific races, shoring up the odds for big plunges for the stable. One of the Cameron's horses, Mortalox, was famously backed from 150s to 3s, hence Russell's nerves.
In them days, they were having decent sort of bets, and there was a lot of money involved, and you'd be months getting a horse prepared, and come race day, and you had to have that horse 100% right. Well, it was fairly involved.
The practice not only cost the Camerons sleep, but also, says Russell, some credibility.
Reputation, as far as the punt go, can affect you in ways, because we lived it affected us over the years in Adelaide. I'm sure of that, because we're known as a big betting stable, and really, I don't know, we were a betting stable, but everything was fair down the line. I think it was only because you're pretty clever at what you do, But no, I'm pleased that tag's been taken away from us.
After being considered for Hobson's Lodge, Russell set up Australia's first business partnership between trainers with John Sadler in Aquanita Racing.
Under the Australian rules of racing, training partnerships are not allowed. And having a business partnership is probably as close as what you can get to it.
We have our own horses and we've got our own clients. So it's just, if one of us is away, the other one can stand in and help the other one, and it's probably something similar like Freeman's been doing with their family and their brothers. And well, certainly without this I wouldn't have been able to, I would have struggled actually, I think.
Do you know the full extent of it? It's a great comfort that you can ask someone else their opinion on a particular horse. And
not that he always listens to me, though, Mary.
It is a risk. Backed by 4 other directors, the pair is setting up a $2 million base at Flemington, nestled between high-flying neighbours John Hawkes and the Hayes. It will eventually take up to 62 horses, plus more in Adelaide with Danny O'Sullivan.
The rail's out 6 metres, so
The partners will equally split the wins and the costs, providing a cushion of support and capital for investment.
Yeah, no, he's going around pretty quietly for him.
I think it's made it a lot easier, and in not having to worry about the financial side of things, and that we can just purely concentrate on his training, and the flexibility of being able to go out, look at horses, spec horses. If he really likes something, then he knows he can be backed up.
They're battling the sceptics among owners and the racing authorities.
I feel that the officialdom right at the moment is struggling a little bit with it. That's only my vibes. I don't know that for a fact. But When we first approached Brian Beattie about it, he thought it was a great idea, and that gave us a lot of confidence to really go with it. But I feel the stewards are struggling with it a little bit.
Aquanita's early success will depend on how their best chances pull up. Like St Clemens Bell, the filly is now having a spell before the autumn carnival, although Russell said kicking our cameraman was a sign she's feeling fit. After the Scalacci Stakes, Toledo heads for the Emirates, then hopefully the Hong Kong Bowl. Sadler will have Behemoth in the Melbourne Cup and Scandinavia in the Salinger Stakes. With these on the books, Cameron's nerves are finally under check.
Yeah, there's a lot more security involved. I think it certainly gives you a lot more confidence in what you're doing. You can make errors and be supported by it.
Yeah, Russell Cameron, and of course, Russell Cameron's horse Toledo is coming up in the next, the Scalacci Stakes on the wide world of sports.
And also having extensive knowledge of the horses. So if you're after anything the owner you want to see, we also have the owner
On 6.
Well, the horses are parading for the Scalacci Stakes. It's a few spots of rain fall at Caulfield, but there's some break in the clouds, and I'm fortunate to have that weather expert, Mr. Simon O'Donnell, with me.
Yes, Ken, my prediction is I wouldn't really have a clue what's going to happen in the next 15 minutes.
It might still be dry for the Caulfield Cup.
I'm going to stick to the racing. Let's hope it stays dry, but it looks a bit ominous, but there was only a light shower. Right,
Let's look at the totes on the Scalacci. Toledo, top one at $6.80. Rebel, $14.70. Special Dane, $9.40. $3.60 Dandelar, favourite from Newcastle, $8.20 for Hockney. Lazing About, $7.80. $7.70 for Tauke. Danajaya, $28.60. Rancho Spark, $24. $10.10 for Catnipped. And Sentaza at $48. I think the South Australian Lazing About has got a tremendous chance. He's had 12 starts for 8 wins. He's to be ridden by Richard Jolly. Darren Beedman caught up with Richard a few moments ago.
Richard, you're the rider of Lazing About. Obviously, you know the horse well. You've ridden him quite a few starts. What do you expect of his chances today?
Yeah, I think he'd be very competitive in this class. He's very consistent. He knows where the line is. As you can see, he's won 8 out of 12, and you know, he's handled the rise up in class every time we've asked him, so I can't see why he won't be far away.
The 1100 metres, he looks pretty well performed over 1,000 metres. 1100 metres is going to be right up his alley.
Yeah, I think he's probably better off in the 1100. His last start in the 1,000, he was just off the bit of touch. This I think the 1100 will really suit him.
Well, all the best today, mate.
Thanks, Darren.
Yeah, Richard Jolly. Well, Darren Beedman, Simon O'Donnell, the tote indicates that Dandelar is the horse to beat, that Rebel's got a great chance. 2 weeks ago, this duo clashed in the Rupert Steele Stakes at Flemington. Boys, Dandelar looked home, the grey mare, but Rebel was just too strong for her.
Yeah, she was doing all the bullocking work up front, and she was really a sitting duck over the concluding stages, but this horse just got nabbed her on the line.
A bit of a surprise pack at Rebel that day. A couple of starts in Melbourne have been disappointing leading in. May have been a couple of excuses for it, but really found its form at Flemington.
Dandelar today will be ridden by Jim Cassidy. Here's Jim's thoughts.
Well, Jim, you're on Dandelar in race 4. What do you expect of chances? Good run last start and a second at Flemington.
Yeah, good run last start. Good thing about Dandelar, she's a winner on this course last year, Darren, and she's done everything right since she's been in Melbourne, so I expect her hard to beat them up today.
Yeah, well, the man who's in form in Melbourne today, Jim was last week, but the man today is Damien Oliver. And, of course, he's been riding Lee Friedman mounts. Lee Friedman is the next man we spoke to.
Lee the Scalacci, he was a great horse to you. Today we see 3 runners, Tokay, Danajaya and also Sentaza. What do you think of their chances?
I've got to support the race named after the great horse. These are all 3 handy horses. I think Tokay, if he strikes his best form, can win the race. He's a very talented horse and his form's been all right this time. Sentaza was a bit indifferent the other day. He's got to make up a bit of ground. Danajaya, I think, probably wants to run.
Now, Buster Jones, later in the day, there's been a lot of talk about his work. He seems to be right up to his ears in his race.
Yeah, he's a very good horse. I think you'll be hearing a lot more about this horse. I think he can win today.
And the Caulfield Cup, we're used to seeing
Lee Friedman, boys, Are you going to go with the Lee Freedman horse, Simon, or do you like Dandelar?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to go Dandelar either. I'm actually going to go Hockney. I think you know, he hasn't had suitable tracks while he's been down here in Melbourne. I think today could be the day that Hockney gets a bit of help from the track. I'm glad that shower wasn't too heavy. He doesn't
he's
even
in
like a bit
screen
of
at the moment, Hockney, or
a
he's
bit of
just
spin
gone
on
out
the
of
ground. But, by geez, a nice horse.
Darren, your fancy?
I'm going to go the toppy, Toledo. He's a Group 1 performer. He's first up from a spell today. I noticed when he walked in the enclosure, he was nice and relaxed, but when the jockey got up on board, he started to get on his toes. And he knows he's here for a race, so I think he'll be swooshing home over the outside.
I'm not going to laze about. I'm going for lazing about, and I wonder what price he is in the ring. Here's Andrew Voss.
Well, Ken, as a matter of fact, it's been the one there's been money for. It's into 4-1. They have gone rather cold on the favourite. The punters, Dandelar, it opened at 9-4. You can now get as much as 4-1 about it. And the other one in the market, Simon's pick, Hockney, has been kept very safe at 6-1. From the betting ring here at Caulfield, we will take a break on the Wide World of Sports and come back with more.
Right, there's Shane Dye aboard Catnipped, one of the runners in the Scalacci Stakes. And the horses are milling behind the barriers. And I can tell you that there's good money in the betting ring for lazing about. Right, Shane's riding Catnipped. I wonder what his tactics are for an 1100 metre sprint.
Now, an 1100 metre race at Caulfield, it definitely helps to draw an inside barrier. You don't want to be back and wide. You want to be on the pace because they go very, very fast. You've got horses like Dandelar, Catnipped, Rancho Spark. They're going to fly in this race. Toledo's going to get a good run in behind them. Now, what you've got to do in an 1100 metre race is keep your horse out of trouble because you can't get held up and you can't get checked. And to get them into the clear turning for home, they're really going to fly.
Right, well, the horses are going into the barrier, and at the barrier, of course, is Simon Marshall.
Well, Kenny, special day, and you want to show up today because by geez, he looks exceptionally well. Rebel coming off his last start, brilliant win at Flemington. He's nice and fit, he's a bulky, he's a typical sprinter. He's chocked up full of muscle, and he's just about to be walked in with Freddie Preble. There goes the 6 lazing about, nice and trim, beautiful in the coat, looks very forward too, Ken. And I thought that Hawksy's Hockney, number 5. Well, he's nice and fit today, he gets a good track. The Goucher's got to work out where he's going, he looked fine. Dandelar looked exceptional well, I thought, behind the gates, Kenny. As a matter of opinion, Tauke's also strip fit. He's going to run a forward race. Catnip, well, she's trim. She's going to obviously lead the race, I think, from the gate, and brilliant speed. She looked nice, actually, going in. Rancho Spark, Jim Martoni, he's been fit for a while, Kenny. Can't fault him, as we have 3 more to move up, mate.
OK, thank you, Simon. I doubt if she will lead. Simon, Shane doesn't always like to lead. What do you like here, Simon O'Donnell? Nothing, no particular fancy?
Oh, no, I'm going to stick with Hockney. I think he's a horse that's got on top of the ground today, and that's going to suit.
OK, I've got my money on the South Australian lazing about. And Darren, you still like Toledo?
I do, yeah. I looked him in behind the gates. He looks very good, so I do.
Rightio. They're in the barriers, or we got one to take his place. That's Toledo, you can see in barrier 1. Yep, they're about to go. Here's Greg Miles.
Off they go now. Toledo and Catnipped out fast on the inside, lazing about into stride well with Hockney. Dandelar, the grey, began like a shot, and after 150 metres, she's searching for the lead. Dandelar on the outside, and Catnipped with Danajaya going up on their outside. Rancho Spark about a length away, wide out, then lazing about Special Dane. Toledo over on the fence, and one to Hockney, followed by Tauke. Second last is Rebel and Sentaza. Dandelar working hard at the 600 out wide in front, coming after Danajaya around the outside now to head it off, and Catnipped over on the inside. These are the 3 leaders, a length to Rancho Spark, Special Dane and Toledo. Hockney is next, working around the outside of lazing about, who's hard ridden coming to the turn, and then Tauke when they corner, and Catnipped on the inside, and Dandelar the 2 leaders. Danajaya's gone. Here's Toledo trying to get out of the pocket, and Tauke down the outside. Catnipped at the 200, and Dandelar on the outside are being joined now by Toledo and Tauke. Toledo and Tauke have raced to the lead together down the outside. Tauke and Toledo, a great go to the line, and Toledo wanted to head to Tauke. 2.5 lengths to photo third. Dandelar is close up with Rebel. Catnipped over on the inside, and then Sentaza, who did his best work late. Back behind those to finish was Rancho Spark. Hockney never came into it. Special Dane towards the end of the field. Danajaya, and also lazing about.
Yeah, well, Nilio treble for the Lee Freedman Damien Oliver combination, but Tauke was bowled over by last year's winner Toledo, who has paid $7.50 and $2.50. Number 7 Tauke, $2.70, and we're still waiting for third place. Number 4 is officially third, Dandalar. Dandalar has grabbed third prize. That's Tauke was going to go straight past Toledo, but with Darren Beedman cheering, Toledo found plenty for Paddy Payne, Darren.
It was a super win. He just rode a brilliant race. Paddy just sat off, nursed the horse with a big weight, and you know, the horse's speed and genuineness come over the final stage of the race.
Right, 174, $7.50 and $2.50 Toledo, $2.70 for Tauke, and $1.70 for Dandalar. Yep. Right, we check another replay, and here, that's going from the rails, that's Catnipped, Dandalar. We stopped them there. That's Catnip, Dandalar. There's the winner, Toledo, and outside of him comes Tauke in the blue colours. And as we roll on, you can see that Tauke was going to get him, but his run may have just faded a touch, and then Paddy Payne got serious on Toledo. He found plenty, and he went on to win quite clearly. Simon O'Donnell is in the winner's circle.
I certainly am in the winner's circle, Ken, and with me is Russell Cameron, the Stradbroke, now the Scalacci. A couple of fair wins in his last 2 starts.
Yeah, it's great, Simon. Yeah, he really went the line good, didn't he?
He's come back well.
Yeah, he looks terrific. He's matured a bit more, I think, again, and you know, this might cement him a trip to Hong Kong, hopefully.
Yeah, he's a horse that's really been finding the line. Any challenges, Tauke loomed up as if he was going to run past him, but he just really dug deep.
Yeah, he did. He keeps trying. He, you know, like he'll improve on whatever he's done today, I reckon, again. And when he gets up to 7 furlongs, he's going to be better again, I think.
Where to next, Russell?
He'll run in probably the Emirates because it suits him better, I think. Well, the Salinger's not out, but I think it's probably the Emirates because it suits him better towards Hong Kong.
Mate, all the best and congratulations.
Thanks, Si.
Yeah, Russell Cameron, the trainer of the winner, Toledo. And what a fine win it was. Yeah, what a good horse he is too. He's won 5 races now. He's won over $1 million in prize money, of course, with his win in the Stradbroke. And today was an excellent training performance, having his first run since June. And Patrick Payne is now with Simon Marshall.
Thank you very much, Kenny. Well, I was just suggesting to Patrick that you'd like this horse in the trenches with you if you're ever in a spot of bother, because he's full of heart, isn't he, Patrick, when he, you know, outgunned Tauke to the run of the line.
He certainly did. He worked with you, and he certainly toughed it out to the line.
You had a beautiful run. You drew lovely, Paddy, and turning for home, it was just a matter of getting to the line, eh?
It was. You know, he had a big weight, but he fought on so strongly enough, having a nice run. It was hard to beat.
A little bit of controversy around Count Shivers, and you give him a chance in the Cup, Patrick?
I don't think he's hopeless.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're hoping for the best.
There we go. There's Paddy Payne, Kenny, and he's a great little jockey, this guy, just coming back from Hong Kong.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. I don't know if Count Shivers has got the right motor, but he'll certainly be ridden well by this gentleman, Patrick Payne, an excellent jockey, and coming back to Scarl on Toledo after the Scalacci Stakes, and getting plenty of cheers and applause for what's become a little overcast here at Caulfield. But let's just hope that the weather stays right. We had a few spits earlier, but fingers crossed, and it'll be okay. And don't forget the big one, the Caulfield Cup. 1.5 miles, handicap conditions, featuring some of the best horses in the world, and you'll see it this afternoon on the Wide World of Sports.
Adjusting for...
Right, from the inside, that was Catnip leading the Scalacci from Dandalar, but then they're collared in the green by Toledo, and in the blue out wider by Tauke, who looks to have just hit the lead when you see it from that angle, but Toledo fights on much better than Tauke. And here in the head-on, you'll see Tauke was just trying to lay in a little bit, and Damien Oliver's got his hands full, but the horse in the green gets the prize. That's Toledo beating the one in the blue, Tauke. 1, 7 and 4, $7.50, $2.50, Tauke $2.70, Dandalar $1.70. The try was $136.60, and the Quinella $32.10. Here's Maxie Walker.
Hey, thank you very much, Kenny. And fortunately for bookmakers and TAB shareholders, Ian Maurice isn't psychic enough to tell us with any certainty anyway who's going to win the Caulfield Cup. But he does know just about everything else. Here he is right now with a sports update.
Caulfield Cup is number 11. It's all in fun. It's the way I like to live my life. It's a bit of a long shot, got Greg Hall on it, but I'm not one to steer away from anything.
Hi, I'm Kim Watkins, and I reckon it's pretty hard to go past Shane Dye on Tie the Knot.
Hi, I'm Peter Overton. My tip for the big race is Tie the Knot, a wonderful horse with a form guide bursting with achievements. And of course, with big-time jockey Shane Dye on board, this partnership will be hard to beat.
Come close and I'll give you a certain tip. Number 16, Vitronite, with Craig Williams in the saddle. An absolute cert.
Plum ride for you in the Caulfield Cup. Aerosmith, a great lead-in.
Yes, he's been going extremely well here in Australia. He's won 2 races, 2 weight for age races, and his last winner at the Turnbull at Flemington was a perfect lead up to the Caulfield Cup.
Must have felt good on Tuesday morning. His work here impressed all the knowledgeable ones, in fact.
Yes, he did good work on the course proper. He will have his lead-up work has been great. We're just hoping for a nice barrier draw and a little bit of pace in the race would be nice.
Yeah, Greg Childs riding Aerosmith in the Caulfield Cup. And a little surprisingly, Aerosmith is favourite on Super Tab at the moment, ahead of Tie the Knot. Let's look at the prices. Faithful Son, 10.40. Count Chivas, 52.90. Tie the Knot, 4.80, about 15 to 4. He will come in, of course. UPIO, 5.80. Markham, 58.70. $16 for Darazari. Fairform for 34.30. Aerosmith, 4.40. $50.70 for Torfin's Melody. The Hind, $18.60. It's all in fun, $33.70. Champagne, $16.30. $30.80 for Jezebel. On air, $53 plus. Pursuits, $20.60. $26.40 for Vitronite. Von Ann, $78.10. And Lisa's Game at $37.10. Back now to Maxie Walker.
Thank you very much, Ken. Well, it is an open field, and if you're at home with a bit of a loss in terms of finding a winner today, well, you could do a lot worse than look for any horse whose dad goes by the name Zabil. New Zealand super sire can't miss at the moment, with the latest sensation, his daughter, In a Flurry. In today's Cup alone, there are the Kiwi mares Champagne and Jezebel, and in the upcoming Norman Robinson, there's the fast improving Sky Heights. Michael Maher reports on the Equine Father of the Year.
Like most Kiwis, Patrick Hogan was depressed after Australia beat the All Blacks 3 times in a row, but he quickly feels better when he thinks about a horse. Hogan wouldn't trade Might and Power's dad Zabil for anything.
Okay, we'll just take him easy and, you know, get him in there and get his rug off, and we'll have a look at him, and don't need to be too fussed this time. All right? Yep, we've got a big season ahead of us, and so we're going to start to look after him, as always. All right.
So you've lost the Bledisloe Cup, but you've got the horse.
Yeah, that's right. You certainly, Australia has the Bledisloe Cup, but I know what I'd rather have. I'd rather have Zabil.
Champions back, the courageous Marvel. Might and Power racing away. Good on you, son. Might and Power bolted in. Golden Newbury second.
Hogan said no to $22 million for Zabil, a horse who's been on the rise ever since another famous son, Octagonal, burst onto the scene in early 1995, before bowing out a champion last year. After being runner-up to the seemingly unbeatable shuttle stallion Danehill 2 years running, last year Zabil found legs no one thought he had, thanks to the likes of Might and Power, Zaccaline, Zonda, Bazile Bay and Caulfield Cup starter Champagne. Zabil stole the Australian size premiership with winners of $7.3 million, just pipping the imperious Danehill. As Zabil works his way through a full book of mares, he's fulfilling a destiny not even racing's greatest optimists could have predicted. Nearly 25 years ago, Patrick Hogan and his wife invested all they had in Cambridge Stud on New Zealand's North Island and in an unknown stallion called Sir Tristram. Before he died last year, rising 27, the King of Cambridge had been champion Australian sire 6 times for 41 individual Group 1 winners. The loss of the horse, who went by the nickname Paddy, was hard felt.
I mean, I knew the answer to it before they even told me, and I said he has to go down, and they said, yep. So, yep.
Hard decision.
Don't like it, yep. Yeah. I mean, the horse is 26 years old. He was rising 27, and that's an old horse, so he had to go.
Under the superstitious Hogan's orders, Paddy was buried standing up, facing the setting sun, where he could view the stables and keep an eye on his son and heir, Zabeel.
Well, that's exactly what we did, and up popped Zabeel. I mean, yeah, even from me, it's quite unbelievable. Who gets one champion stallion in his lifetime, let alone who can ever get two?
Apart from the early deeds of Octagonal, what gave Hogan early faith in Zabeel was that when the stallion was crossed with the mare 8 Carat, Zabeel was able to outproduce his father. Matings gave birth to the champions, Octagonal and Mulwad.
But Sir Tristram couldn't do with 8 Carat what Zabeel was able to do, and it was always in the back of my mind that was the case, and therefore there must be something in Zabeel that was happening.
Dignity Dancer at the 100, 2 in front of Lawyer and Arena, and Dignity Dancer, there's a Zabeel 3-year-old wins the Champion Stakes.
The Zabeel gene is powerful, particularly over a bit of distance, as Zabeel's son Dignity Dancer showed in winning the Spring Champion Stakes.
Sky Heights is coming at it. This is a great performance. Sky Heights has raced to the lead and comes clear. And Sky Heights, a good young horse in the making, has won it.
In today's Norman Robinson is Sky Heights, bound for a start in the Victoria Derby. There's the mare Champagne, as well as Melbourne Cup hopes, Our Unicorn and Jezebel, and a tribe of promising fillies led by the Colin Alderson trained In a Flurry. In the 1,000 guineas during the week, she delivered another Group 1 for Zabeel. The runner-up, a Danehill. And while the Zabeel Danehill wars continue, the two bloodlines are mingling. When Danehill's daughter, the Cox Plate winning Dane Ripper, broke down recently, she was quickly flown for a romantic interlude with Zabeel at Cambridge. Love his horses as much as he does, that $22 million offered Hogan must have been tempting.
Why did I say no? Because I think I'm young enough yet. I love what I'm doing. And if Zabeel walked out the gate, there'd be no, you wouldn't be here even. You wouldn't want to come and see me because I'd have nothing to show you.
Do you think that Paddy might have rolled in his grave?
I've never thought of that, but I guess all I could say is Paddy mightn't be too happy, and whoever bought Zabeel, the winners may not come. You know, they might stop winning.
What a fantastic horse, and of course, as we mentioned before, the Zabeel offspring that could just about carry on winning in the next year at Caulfield is Sky Heights. He might have only had 3 starts, but boy, does he have some potential. And while you're checking to see just how much is left in the cookie jar, for a small wager on Sky Heights, we'll take a short break.
Down the track on today's show, the Norman Robinson Field gallops for a slice of spring prize money. Live from Caulfield on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Yeah, that's my ambition.
If you
to win the Cox Plate, that's all I want.
Well, that was my next question, Jack. You've done it all. Golden Slippers, Melbourne Cups. Is this the one you really want?
That's the one that's got away, John.
Next Saturday on Wide World of Sports, will Jack Denham claim the missing jewel in his crown? We'll take you trackside.